on It's a Miracle. A terrible accident leaves a man with only one hope.
The most important structures holding the bones together are the ligaments, and those were completely severed.
The one doctor who could actually do the near impossible. Also, a determined woman defies the medical establishment.
He said, "Are you a scientist?" And I said, "No." He said, "Are you a doctor?" And I said, "No, I'm a nurse. I know they can find the cure."
First, she would have to become her own guinea pig. Plus, can a young boy save his uncle?
Go get help.
And can a cat save his owner? The amazing answers are next on It's a Miracle. Here's the host of It's a Miracle, Roma Downey.
No matter how unexplainable a miraculous event is, it will always invite some speculation. Was this a real miracle? How can we be sure that it wasn't just plain old luck or coincidence? Well, everybody in our next story was so grateful that they didn't need explanations. All they could say was, "It's a miracle." Growing up poor and fatherless in the barrio of Phoenix, Arizona, would make any kid tough at a young age. Marcos Parra was no exception.
Well, I grew up, downtown, but it's pretty rough. I didn't like school that much. I used to, drop out, fight a lot,
Pues cuando tenía como 14 o 15 años, sí anduvo con malas compañías.
I was never involved in gangs, but I knew people, my friends were in gangs. I think I would have ended up in jail or even dead, because you never know what the streets have out there.
Suddenly, he felt something more than street life was possible. Marcus found his way to the Glendale Community Church, where he met Bishop Arthur Tafoya.
Marcos came to church on, I believe it was around Easter. He had suffered the loss of one of his closest cousins, and he was very broken. But I could see he was a troubled young man coming from a hard life. And he was calling out for help. Stay close to the Word of God.
Under the bishop's tutelage, Marcus returned to school and began to transform his life.
One thing about Marcos is that I really appreciate is that he takes counsel. He lacked a father. And I noticed that he enjoyed getting involved with the young people, and the young people pulled him in. Yeah, loved him.
Marcus had a new love of life thanks to his renewed faith, a faith that was about to be tested in an unimaginable way.
The date of the accident was July 12th to 2002, around 10:30 at night. That's what time it was. And what I remember, they said that I was going southbound on the light. There's a big van next to me on the left side of me. When I got a green light, I couldn't see that there's a speeding car going about 80 to 90 miles per hour.
It looked bad. You had bent metal, you had skid marks, you had glass. You look at the damage and you say, there's probably going to be some serious injuries here.
Many people do not survive that type of injury that he was exposed to. Marcos probably should have been dead. We suspected a head injury as well as a spinal injury. And right away, I had one crew member hold his head in line with the spine all the way to the hospital. I told him not to let go of the head.
The ligaments that attached his head were ripped from his body. Only the skin kept the spinal cord and vital arteries in place. Nobody had ever seen someone survive with the kind of horrific injuries that Marcus had. What are the chances that the severely injured Marcus would soon be in the care of renowned neurosurgeon Dr. Curtis Dickman of St. Joseph's Hospital?
The forces that are required to cause this type of injury are so violent that most people with this type of accident die in the field. This is Marcos's CAT scan. This is the base of the skull, and this is where the base of the skull attaches to the first cervical vertebrae. This bone surface should be touching this bone surface. The most important structures holding the bones together are the ligaments, and those were completely severed.
They summoned me to pray for him. When I walked in is when I really found out the seriousness, is when the nurse there told me that Marcos had no business being alive. I told him to move his toes, and he moved his toes. I told him to move his hand, squeeze my hand, and he did. The nurse said that he could not be doing this because his neck had become detached from his body.
Miraculously, Dr. Dickman had been practicing for just such an injury.
Most techniques that are used to fuse the skull and cervical spine together incorporate the first and second cervical vertebrae and result in a substantial loss of normal motion. The technique that we developed in the laboratory attaches the skull and the first vertebrae together and then thread hollow screws in order to solidly and permanently anchor the bones together, sparing all the normal motion of the neck.
We prayed for him, my son Jonathan and I prayed for him, and then we stepped out and then the operation took place.
This was the first time that this technique had been used. Marcos's bones were large enough and they were in a satisfactory position for application of the screws.
Para mí fue muy duro porque yo tenía que bañarlo, que llevarlo al baño y darle las medicinas, cargarlo, porque él no podía hacer nada por él solo.
As painful as Marcus's recovery was, he managed to start attending church just 3 weeks after his accident.
Standing where I stand behind the pulpit, I saw him being wheeled in. And I noticed, and at that time, everybody turned around and looked, and everybody just showered him with love and hugs and kisses. It was just very moving. It was very touching.
Pues no sé qué decirle, no sé qué hacer. Estoy muy contenta, eso sí, ¿verdad? Le doy muchas gracias a Dios de que me lo haya prestado todavía.
He's a fine young man, and he's full of love, as you can see.
You know, God doesn't do anything just to do it. He has to have a purpose in life. So that's why I think, you know, that this had to happen, because God, it was a purpose, it was His word. And I don't know how it would be if it wasn't like that. I probably would be dead.
A miracle of love and devotion. It's what makes life worth living. If you've ever experienced a miracle in your life, I'm sure you felt what all people feel when a miracle happens to them. The wonder, the relief, and the realization that when things look the bleakest, there's always room for the miraculous. Elaine Dullock has always had a strong spirit, born perhaps from the years she spent growing up on a remote ranch in Montana.
I've always been a person that, you tell me I can't do something, I'm going to do it.
In 1979, Elaine married Marvin Dullock. It was a storybook marriage. The couple was blessed with a beautiful baby girl, and it wasn't long before they were expecting their second child. What happened next would turn Elaine's world upside down.
During my pregnancy, I wake up in the middle of the night, and I couldn't move my left leg. The doctor said, well, it's probably just the way the baby's sitting. It's probably hit on a nerve.
Elaine gave birth to a son, but her joy was short-lived when she was suddenly overwhelmed with fatigue.
Got to the point where she would start feeling numbness and actual loss of limb use. And it scared us.
A couple times, I'd wake up in the middle of the night, and my son was crying. I'd go to throw my legs over this side of the bed and get up, and I just fell flat on my face.
She's that young, she's that strong, she's in that good a shape. You know, what could this be?
Elaine went to one doctor after another and was eventually diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. It was devastating news, but it was nothing compared to what happened next.
His reply to me was, there's nothing we can do for you. You eat good and get your sleep.
Things only got worse when the couple learned that MS is not only debilitating, it can eventually be fatal.
Multiple sclerosis is a disease of the central nervous system. Then as time goes on, generally it progresses to the point where you have permanent disability. Maybe first your legs, maybe you end up having to use a cane and then a front wheel walker and then a wheelchair. There is no cure for MS. There is really nothing they can do to even stop the symptoms.
Here's my wife, Elaine, an energetic individual who's going to have her youth just stolen from her by a disease.
Elaine realized that her life had changed forever, but true to her nature, she wasn't about to take the diagnosis lying down.
I've just never been that kind of a person to just roll over and say, okay, this is my destiny. And I was determined I was going to beat this thing.
But Elaine's condition was getting worse. Her doctors had prescribed the standard medicines for treating MS, but the drugs weren't working.
I had contemplated, you know, always wanting to go back to nursing school, but when you can't even write a complete check without your hand stopping, there was no way I'd be able to sit in a class and take notes or even have the energy to get to the class.
Elaine was frantic to find ways to reduce her symptoms, and she learned of a doctor who was treating MS patients with injections of vitamin B12 and adenosine phosphate. Although an unconventional treatment, Elaine was desperate for relief.
I started to feel better. I got to the point where I wasn't totally fatigued. I wasn't totally symptom-free. I still had a lot of numbness and tingling and pain, but I could actually accomplish things. In fact, I went on and decided to go back and finish my nursing degree.
When Elaine graduated and landed her first nursing job, she tried to convince doctors to treat their MS patients with the same drugs that had eased her symptoms. When they dismissed her claims as nonsense, she set out to prove them wrong.
There would be books everywhere. We wouldn't be able to eat in the kitchen table, and I would have to beg her to just stop studying for a little bit, just make us some dinner, because she was so into it. She just had to find this.
And then, during one of her frequent trips to the library, Elaine stumbled upon something that all of her doctors had missed. After years of fighting against the debilitating effects of multiple sclerosis, Elaine Dullock decided to take matters into her own hands. She went back to school, got her nursing degree, and began an exhaustive study of the disease that had threatened her life. And then one day, something miraculous happened.
Every time I looked at the word histamine, I got these chills. And I didn't know anything about histamine. I was learning it as I was going.
Elaine felt that something was guiding her. Before she knew it, she'd spent the whole day in the library. What she discovered would shake up the entire medical community.
What I learned in those 8 hours was that people with MS don't make enough of this neurotransmitter called histamine. And so I realized if I just replaced the histamine, then that would be the answer.
Now Elaine had to prove her theory. Against the wishes of her family, she began experimenting on herself with histamine injections.
She brought home some stuff and she says, well, I'm going to start the injections. Of course, my immediate concern was what? Injection what? You know, what are these substances? Are they benign? What are they going to do? You know, at that time, I said, what are the side effects? I want to know what the side effects are. You're a guinea pig here. There's no one monitoring this.
But Elaine refused to stop. For weeks, she injected the histamine, varying the dosage. And then, one day, it happened.
My tingling was gone, my weakness was gone, my fatigue was gone. I could tolerate heat.
Come on!
Good job, bud.
I was feeling normal again, like I didn't have MS.
We were seeing less in fatigue. We were seeing more energy. I was excited that I was getting my wife back.
Elaine had battled her MS symptoms and won, and now she was ready to share her treatment with the medical community. Unfortunately, she found that the news of her discovery fell on deaf ears.
He said, are you a scientist? And I said, no. He said, are you a doctor? And I said, no, I'm a nurse who has MS, and I want to know if you're doing any research. The phone went dead. I never got another answer. He just hung up when he found out I was just a nurse. At times, I would think to myself, you know, you are just a nurse. If there really was something to this, Elaine, somebody would be doing something with it.
Reports of Elaine's treatment leaked out, spreading like wildfire to other MS sufferers who encouraged her not to give up.
The phone would ring. There'd be somebody I didn't know who had MS and said, I'm hearing you're doing this research on MS. And it was just kind of like, okay, God, I'll just keep trying.
Elaine continued to refine her formula. She knew that histamine injections were unrealistic for many people suffering from multiple sclerosis. So she began looking for someone who could put her compound into a transdermal patch.
A patch like that would slowly release the medication through the skin.
It was exactly the kind of challenge that appealed to pharmacist Judy Richardson.
I came in a lot of times on Sunday afternoons when the store was closed.
or I did work at home reading the research, looking for what kind of a dose I wanted to decide on.
Working from Elaine's notes, Judy eventually came up with a cream that could easily be applied to the patch.
We want to have it nice and creamy so that it'll stay on the patch.
And I put it on, and a few hours later I'd get symptoms, and I told her, no, this isn't right. We need to add a little more of this or a little more of that.
Finally, they got it right.
I could do anything I wanted to do. I could go with the family wherever they wanted to go. I was ecstatic, and I wanted to get this out to other people.
Elaine convinced a local doctor to test her treatment on his MS patients. The results were astounding. Next stop, the drug companies. Elaine wanted to share her discovery with the world.
And I just gave him all my research. I wasn't looking for any compensation or anything. I just wanted somebody to please do the study, get this medication out available to people. And they didn't want to do it because they didn't think there was any money in it for them. They didn't believe it was patentable.
But once again, Elaine Dullock refused to give up. If the big companies wouldn't help her, she'd do it herself. First, she had to come up with a name.
I just thought of, well, pro, and then caring. And I thought, just drop the G. Made it Pro-Karen.
And then she got the break she'd been looking for. A local news program profiled Elaine and her struggle to make Pro-Karen available to all MS sufferers. The floodgates were opened.
We started Pro-Karen August 3rd. We will never forget it. Okay, let's try our bending and stretching. Just bend.
Larry McCarthy had struggled against MS for 37 years, spending most of his days in a wheelchair or in bed. Desperate for anything that might help her husband, Linda McCarthy convinced Larry's doctor to let him try Pro-Karen.
By the end of the second week, he says there is no numbness in his leg. All the numbness is gone. The left side is beginning to come alive. And he can make himself understood now. He still goes to speech therapy, but he has a voice.
Should we try to get you in to see the kids' apartment or condo this weekend?
I would like to.
Yes.
Very much.
Dr. George Gilson of the Tahoma Clinic has been tracking Larry's progress since he began using Pro-Karen.
The results for Larry have been quite startling. He was able to use his left hand, he was able to scratch his head, he was able to turn over in bed, he was sleeping soundly through the night. It was night and day for Larry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does it work? Does it improve the level of functioning in a certain percentage of people? Yes, it does. Out of 100 people that you give it to the best of our ability, 2/3 of the people will have some response to it. You might try that high tape.
For Elaine, hearing how Pro-Karen has helped so many people is a dream come true.
You just can't describe it. You just overwhelming joy, happiness. I just kind of relive the feeling of getting my life back as they tell me their experiences.
Word of Pro-Karen's benefits spread quickly across the country. Although not FDA approved, a recent study showed nearly 600 doctors were prescribing Pro-Karen and more than 500 pharmacies were manufacturing it.
I want everybody to have it. I want people to have Pro-Karen to control their symptoms. And I believe if I can get the medical community to look at Pro-Karen and to look at the theory that it's based on, I know they can find a cure.
But Elaine Dullock will always be remembered for what she's already accomplished.
Elaine is very much an angel. She has had so much tenacity to stick with this. We have been given our life back today.
As Elaine looks back on her years of struggle, she believes she was never alone.
I knew that day that was God telling me that this was my purpose. You know, I just can't say enough. God has really touched me, and I'm finally able to do what he wanted me to do.
Elaine had the courage of her convictions and the faith in herself to succeed. Miraculous work that lives on in others. Welcome back to It's a Miracle. Now a story you'll never forget. A truly miraculous account of a young boy's devotion to the only father figure in his life. Devotion that is rewarded in kind with a miracle. From the time he was a young child, Hunter Brewer was raised by his aunt and uncle, Pam and Joey Hinton.
Hunter is my nephew, but he's more like a son. He's just precious to us. He's just been a big part of our life.
And Hunter was an especially big part of his Uncle Joey's life.
Joey and Hunter were close. Whatever Joey does, Hunter wants to do too. He would say, "Jojo, wake me up, because I want to go to work with you."
I like to go shopping and stuff with him. I like to go to the Harley shop. I like to do all kinds of stuff with him, a lot of stuff.
Come back to see us.
Hunter? Hunter particularly enjoyed helping Joey on the days he worked in his father's hardware store.
I'm coming down with the lift now. Hunter liked his uncle and just wanted to be with him all the time, and then Joey was the same way about Hunter. He thinks the world of his Uncle Joey. Loves his uncle very much.
But a terrifying experience was about to change their relationship forever. It began one Sunday afternoon at the home of Joey's parents, Alden and Doris Hinton.
Pam had worked at the hospital the night before, and she had to sleep at the house, so Joey and Hunter came to my house and we had lunch.
I don't think I'll have any cake. I'm going to go down to the store and get that furniture. Go ahead and move it over to the house so I'll have that out of the way.
You want me to go with you?
No, you stay here. Your back's been bothering you. I don't want you to hurt it anymore. I can get it.
Y'all be careful.
Can I go?
No, Hunter, you need to stay here.
Please, can I go?
No,
Hunter begged Joey to go with him.
Please.
No, get it done.
He didn't want to take me at first, but he had promised. You promised?
When?
Yesterday?
If I promised, come on. Put your cake up. Hurry up.
A short while later, Joey and Hunter arrived at the hardware store and began loading Joey's furniture onto the homemade elevator.
I don't know about it. Let me see it. Get on there and hold that chair for me. Yeah, just watch this one.
I'll watch this.
While Hunter waited in the elevator, Joey went downstairs to lower it, but there was a problem.
Hunter, it's gonna be just a minute. I gotta move something.
Joey had no idea this simple act would have a disastrous result. Hunter and the fully loaded elevator had plummeted from the second floor and landed directly on top of Joey.
Hunter!
I didn't see nothing but his head. He couldn't breathe. That's what was making his face turn red and blue.
Go get help.
Fortunately, Hunter knew exactly what to do.
911, what's your emergency?
My uncle's stuck up under a homemade lift.
Perry County Sheriff's dispatcher, Joanna Gerald, took the call.
Okay, just calm
There
down.
was a young boy on the line, and he was very scared.
Okay, I have a policeman on the way. Just stay on the line.
Please hurry.
His voice was very elevated, and I could tell that the situation was very serious and that someone needed to get there immediately.
Perry SO to Beaumont 1.
Joanna quickly dispatched the local police and fire department and then called AAA ambulance service, where dispatcher Wendy Scoggins joined her and Hunter on the phone.
She told me that something had fallen on an adult at a hardware store in Beaumont and that a small child had actually made the call.
Honey?
Huh?
What happened?
Huh?
What happened?
Oh, I was on this elevator holding stuff. It's one of these board elevators that come around real quick and fell on him.
What part of his body does it fall on his legs, on his arms?
On his back.
It's on his, honey, I need you to calm down, okay? It's on his back.
Yeah.
I knew when he said that it had fallen on his uncle's back that it was pretty bad.
So he's got a board elevator on his back.
Hurry, and there's a lot of stuff on it.
The ambulance is on its way, honey, okay? I just need you to calm down and keep talking to me, okay?
Okay.
Okay?
I think he's hurt bad, though.
Elevator. Okay. Is he talking to you?
Jojo, are you okay?
He's calling a board elevator.
He's not talking.
He's not talking. Honey, calm down. Calm down. He's not talking to you?
No.
Okay.
I was scared. I didn't know what was going on.
Are you listening?
Yes. I knew the elevator fell on him, but I didn't know if he was all right. I thought he was probably dead.
Listen to me. I need you to stay calm. You're helping your uncle, okay?
Okay, hurry.
Honey, don't scream, okay?
The little boy was hysterical on the phone, and you try to talk to kids and get them to tell you what their name is, how old they are, and different things like that helps to calm children down sometimes.
Honey, what's your name?
Hunter Brewer.
Huh?
Hunter.
Joanna was also a teacher at the local elementary school.
Hunter.
Hunter?
And as she listened, she realized that Hunter was one of her students.
You're doing a good job.
It became personal when I realized it was Hunter.
Daddy, I just need you to stay calm.
It touched my heart because, you know, he was one of mine, and I had to help him the best I could.
Hunter. This is Miss Gerald, Hunter.
Gerald?
Miss Gerald?
Yes.
Everything's okay. The policeman's coming, okay? Don't...
Okay.
Just calm down. Hunter, stay on the phone. Don't hang up, baby.
It was probably one of the most emotional calls I've ever worked because you got a small child on the other end of the phone that's screaming and they're hysterical, and somebody that they love and care about is hurt, and they're hurt bad.
A freak accident has left Joey Hinton pinned beneath the weight of an elevator, and his 7-year-old nephew, Hunter, with the terrible responsibility of saving his life. But as the young boy desperately tries to explain the situation to emergency workers, it becomes painfully apparent that it may be too late.
Well, listen, this is what I need you to do, Hunter. Hunter.
What?
I need you to go over there beside his face and put your hand under his nose or at his mouth and see if he's still breathing, okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I couldn't get to him at all. There was like a lot of stuff like poles, bed rails and everything else in my way. And I couldn't get to him. I can't get to him.
You can't get to him? Okay, listen.
His head is pouring blood. Hurry.
His head's pouring blood?
Yes.
Okay.
Knowing that time was of the essence, Wendy signaled her partner to call for a rescue helicopter.
Okay, honey, listen. Go next door and knock on the door and tell them that someone's hurt and you have 911 on the line, and get an adult to come back. Don't hang up the phone.
But he's got the doors locked and I don't know where the keys are.
The door's locked and you don't know where the keys are?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. We'll get in. That's okay.
After what seemed like an eternity, police and firefighters finally arrived on the scene.
Anybody in there?
We're here.
Buddy Pitkins, a volunteer firefighter, was one of the first to arrive.
Can you open the door, Bob?
He was wanting somebody to help him, and we tried to get the back door open, and it was locked.
And they tried to bust that metal door down. It was a metal door, a lift-up door, by a chain on the inside, and you can't get in. There's a glass door right front.
We'll go in the front door.
Unlock the door.
I can't.
Back out the way.
This way. Hurry.
We went through and seen somebody laying up under the elevator. First thing I thought of, just grab it and pick it up, but it didn't work like that. Take the key out.
All right, let's try to lift it. Okay. No. Hold on, let's move some of this furniture.
The elevator was too heavy for the rescuers to move by themselves, but fortunately, help was not far away.
I just happened to look across and the forklift was sitting there. So I went around and jumped on it, and just lucky the keys was in it.
Got no hook. the neck now. Ease him back.
When we got the elevator off of him, he was dead.
No pulse, so start CPR. Mark
There
out.
wasn't no pulse, heartbeat, there wasn't nothing. He had done turned light blue.
2, 3, 4, 5.
While Buddy and his team performed CPR, Joey's parents arrived at the store, not knowing for certain who was injured.
After getting there, Hunter came out, so then we knew that he was not hurt, that it had to be my son that was under the elevator.
Is Joey alive? Is he alive?
And he didn't answer me, so I said, oh no, Joey is dead. And he still didn't say anything.
Joey's dead. Oh.
I just went to pieces because I knew that my only son was dead.
Next time we're checking pulse. 4, 5, breathe him.
Fearing the worst, Alden rushed inside to check on his son.
1, 2,
Is he all right?
Y'all need to get him out of here. He don't need to be in here seeing this.
They asked me to leave, but I told them I knew what they were having to do to go ahead and do it, and I would be all right.
1, 2, 3. Oh.
And I stood there and watched them work on him.
He was keeping it together, but you could tell he was hurting. You know, he wanted to know how his son, you know, if he was going to make it or not, which at the time we couldn't tell him because we really didn't know.
Beaumont Fire Department 521, rescue 7.
I'll be off. You need me back up in about 30 seconds.
Joey was still not responding as he was loaded onto the Medivac helicopter and rushed to nearby Forest General Hospital and into the care of neurosurgeon Dr. David Lee.
Joey came in a severe comatose state. His coma scale score, which ranges from a 3, which is minimum activity, to 15, was about a 6. He was unable to open his eyes. He was unable to verbally respond or even moan. And given the fact that he had a lack of oxygen to the brain, there's a chance that he may never wake up.
Mrs. Hinton?
By now, Joey's wife Pam had joined his parents at the hospital, anxiously awaiting for word on his condition.
And at this point, Mr. Hinton is critical. He is not breathing on his own. He does have a heartbeat. He does have a pulse and a blood pressure, but he is unresponsive.
I didn't know what I was going to do.
We'll be with
I
you.
was like, how am I and the kids going to go on
Any kind of medicines that...
if he's not going to be okay? He's right in here.
Once Joey's condition had stabilized, he was moved into the intensive care unit and his family was allowed to see him.
Temperature, which we're having treatment. He's on the ventilator right now, which is doing all the work of breathing for him. He's not been responsive to me at all as far as squeezing my hands or opening his eyes. He doesn't do anything. It's just a horrible feeling. He will respond to painful stimuli. Not knowing whether he was going to wake up, if he was going to have severe brain damage. But that's all. I just prayed, Lord, if you bring him through this, just let him be okay. Joey, this is Pam. If you can hear me, blink your eyes.
For 2 days, the family sat vigil at Joey's bedside, and on the 3rd day, their prayers were answered.
He blinked his eyes. I think he's responding. Pam. Oh, Joey, blink your eyes if you can hear me, darling. When I would talk, he would turn toward me, so I felt like he knew my voice. And that's what made me feel more confident that he was going to be okay.
From then on, from the 3rd day on, he just started getting better and better and better.
As soon as Joey showed signs of improvement, Hunter was finally permitted to see him.
Hey, boy. What are you doing?
Nothing. What you doing?
Waiting for you to come see me. He was glad to see me. I was glad to see him, too. And he spent the night he slept with me. And so that was, you know, I thought that was pretty cool. They let him do that.
Hunter was eventually presented with an award from the Perry County Board of Supervisors for the heroic actions that saved his uncle's life.
I just thank God that Hunter begged him to go. Because if he had not of, Joey wouldn't be here.
Sometimes it gives me chills just to think how everything worked out. It was a miracle that God put him there with me and that he was able to stay so calm.
There was too many things that fell together. There was a chain of events, and if one of them had been broken, Joe would have been dead. So it had to be a miracle. There's no way around it.
Are you ready? Go. Go, go, go.
Today, Joey has almost completely recovered from his accident, but he remains under the ever-watchful eye of Hunter.
If Joey goes somewhere, Hunter gets worried about him. He's really possessive of Joey, it seems, because he just loves him so much.
Everywhere I go, he wants to be. And he was like that before the accident. But now, I can't even hardly get out the door without him. And, you know, that's kind of special to me, that he wants to be with me, you know, that he thinks that much of me. I love him like a son.
I would be sad living without him. I wouldn't probably do as much fun stuff as I usually do with him. I'm just glad he's alive. That's a miracle. And I love him a lot.
Now, a miraculous tale about a cat and the way she sensed a child's danger as if guided by a guardian angel. Jose Ybarra has a very special relationship with his cat, a gift from his mother, Karen.
My son wanted a cat for his 15th birthday. So we went looking all over, fell in love with this black cat that was abandoned.
Good girl.
She has her own personality. It's not like any other animal I've ever had. When we would lay on the floor and watch TV, she would just walk up to you, hit you in the forehead, and take off running. She was a brat. That's how she got her name.
If Brat treated Karen badly, she made up for it with her devotion to Jose, whom she never left alone.
She'd sit there by the door trying to get in, wait till you open it, and, like, bolt in there just so she's in there with you.
How's my girl?
Any other cat would be just laying around, running around, playing. Brat would just always want to be loved.
Brat's love for Jose would be tested a few months later when he suddenly became very ill.
Brat, off the counter. Come on. Come on.
I'll take her. I didn't know if I had flu or what was going on. I was just extremely ill. I knew that I never had this kind of sickness before.
You need to get some sleep after you eat, okay?
My whole body hurts.
I know. Why don't you just try and eat a little more, okay?
Late that night, Jose's condition grew so severe that his body suddenly went into convulsions. Brat must have sensed that something was wrong because this time, rather than wait for Jose to open the door, she ran into Karen's room to get help.
Then the cat starts trying to wake me up. And she'd never done this before, but we hadn't had her very long, so I thought maybe she was hungry. So I kept turning over, going back to sleep, thinking, you know, she'll stop. And at one point, I literally just pushed her away.
But Brat wasn't giving up.
And she starts licking my eyelids at this point, trying to wake me up. Well, at this point, you are awake. You are awake when a cat licks your eyelids. I followed Brat out into the hallway to see where she was going and see what she wanted. At that point, she was trying to get into my son's bedroom. She was clawing at the door. When I opened it up, he was having a seizure.
Oh, Jose! Jose!
His body was just thrashing throughout the room.
Bill! Call 911!
It was definitely terrifying.
Jose was rushed to a nearby hospital where doctors determined that the teenager had contracted a severe case of bacterial meningitis.
And they told us, had we slept through the night, we would have woke up and found him dead.
But 5 days later, Jose was on the road to recovery.
Do you remember what happened that night?
No.
Brat saved you.
Brat saved me?
She must have heard you having your seizures, so she ran into our room.
He realizes how close he came to death, and he knows how lucky he is to be here today, and he knows that it's because of that cat.
Brad! How's my girl?
When he got home, he really took care of that cat. He picked up the cat, he hugged her, he loved her, he kissed her. This was his way of saying thank you.
Thank you, Brad.
Still to this day, that cat's got a special place in his heart.
Brat had proved a loyal friend and perhaps even a guardian angel.
Someone's my guardian angel, maybe my cat. I believed in miracles, just not many of them. And now that this happened and the cat had saved me, I know it was a miracle.
There's no doubt in my mind that she was trying to save his life. No doubt in my mind that she knew something bad was happening behind that door and that she needed to get him some help. There's no way I would have woke up if that cat didn't wake me up. She saved his life. There's no doubt in my mind. I do believe it's a miracle.
Maybe Brat was sharing one of her lives, a miraculous gift to a loving child. By the way, Brat received 2 commendations from the Illinois State Senate and the village of Wheeling, the first time these awards had ever been presented to a cat. Thank you for watching, and a special thanks to all who shared their stories with us. Miracles do happen, and they can happen to you. I'm Roma Downey. Goodbye.